Never in my life. Never in my life.
I mean, but yes, we have, because it's the same playbook every time.
I know.
My enemies are out to get me. How many times are we doing this with the enemies?
The witness protection program, except for not when
except for not at all.
I know. Hi, Jillian Benzavalli.
Hi, Patrick Hines.
Oh, fam. How's it going, girl? How you doing?
I'm, not great, but no, I'm great. I'm wonderful. Thrilled to be here, as usual.
Fam, join us over on the Patreon. We got so much great stuff over there. In addition to every week, you get a full ad-free bonus episode covering the series on Netflix and Hulu and Max and all of those. We've got some great interviews on there lately. We got Skye Borgman, who directed the Lacey Peterson documentary. Mm-hmm. We got Kathy from Into the Fire. Yep. Josh Hallmark, who is talking about the Israel Keys kill caches that they've been finding.
Yes.
So many great reasons to join the Patreon over there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's a party. We do drag bingo once a month.
Yes.
We just did our Halloween one. It's great.
We got that tier where we send you some stuff. Oh, and the holiday calendar is coming up on that tier.
It's coming up, end of the year calendar.
If you're ever going to join the Hero Bell tier, do it in the month of December to get the calendar. Yep. It's so worth it.
So good.
Anyway, girl, what are we talking about today?
Sweet Bobby, my catfish nightmare.
What happened to me is just one crazy story. You can't make it up. We're talking about 10 years of my life. I was 32, very focused on my career. All my friends are getting married, and I just felt, when's it going to be my turn? One day, I get a friend request from Bobby.
I've never spoken to her in my life.
I want answers. What I find so elaborate, so huge.
It's just unbelievable.
Profiles disappear. I'm terrified. You don't know what they're capable of. This is sickening. What was a lie? What was the truth? Who was the real Bobby? All of this time, who have I been sleeping on the phone with?
All right. First of all, I remember listening to this podcast when it came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
So there is a podcast by the same name. I didn't listen. I did a deep dive into the podcast today, but I didn't listen to this. I'm going into this completely cold.
Well, the other thing, too, the documentary is called Sweet Bobby, My Catfish Nightmare. The podcast is just called Sweet Bobby. We did not know it was a catfish until like several episodes in. Oh, or maybe I'm getting that wrong, but the level of the catfishing was very much a shock in the podcast.
Well, I mean, as it is here,
It is wild, wild, wild. So we meet Kirat. She is our protagonist. She's got to be one of the most sympathetic people I think we've ever covered.
There's a lot happening here and a lot about her culture, and I'm mad at a lot of people on her behalf.
Yes. She tells us she first met Bobby in 2011 in a city called Brighton, which is on the south coast of England. It's gorgeous.
And they meet in person.
She's out partying with her girlfriends one night. She's at her friend's hen weekend.
It's her bachelorette weekend.
I know. I had to look up. I was like, what does a hen weekend mean?
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. But they're like partying down in Brighton.
I want to dance, let off steam, have a good laugh on the dance floor. But then I see this tall man in a turban. I've been talking to him online for the last few months. His name's Bobby Jundu.
They're like partying down in Brighton, and she sees this guy. His name is Bobby, and she has known him on the internet. They've been Facebook friends for a really long time. She goes up to him to like say hi. She's like, "Oh my God, Bobby, what's up? It's Kirat," and he like can't hear her.
It's
doesn't
super
know
loud.
her.
She's like, "It's me from Facebook. Right. We've been talking for like 3 months."
And
he's like,
"What, girl?
Yeah, no, I guess it is kind of warm in here." And she's like, "No, it's me."
Oh,
Kirat.
okay, great.
So the music's super loud. Like he's probably been drinking, and it's a little awkward. And Kirat doesn't want to embarrass him, so she kind of lets it go. And she's like, "I can't believe I just ran into this guy in Brighton of all places. Like, this is so, we've been talking online."
And
like,
once again, they've only been friends on Facebook. This is the first time they're meeting in real life. So I guess it's not that weird that if he's been drinking, like, it's just a little out of place. Like, why would they both be there?
And this won't come up again. She doesn't say, "Oh, were you?" Like, so weird. We were, because they will then talk every single day for the next 8 years, but it never comes up that they ran into each other.
And Kirat, we should mention, she's 32. She's been in a long-term relationship for like 18 years. All of her friends are getting married. She really wants to get married. She's like, when's it going to be my turn?
Well, it's not just Kirat. So Kirat was born and raised in West London. She lived there her whole life. She describes herself as a Punjabi Sikh woman, and her parents were born in Kenya.
Yes.
Now, she we'll get into her culture in a little bit and the pressure on her to get married and the clock is ticking and you have to have kids.
And it's one of those communities that's very small, very tight-knit. Everybody knows everybody's business, says Kirat.
Right. So 4 months before they meet at the club in Brighton, Bobby messages Kirat for the first time.
Yeah.
And normally she wouldn't add some rando who just like messaged her out of nowhere, but they had people in common because Bobby's little brother JJ is dating Kirat's cousin Simran.
Yes.
And they're teenagers and like Kirat's the cool older cousin always giving advice. And so like her little cousin's boyfriend's brother reached out to her. She accepts the friend request.
Totally. And this guy, Bobby, is very cool. He comes from a well-respected family in the Kenyan community.
He has quite a hoity-toity kind of lifestyle, a well-to-do lifestyle. He's happily married. He's based between Kenya and the UK. And he's a cardiology consultant.
What a cool fucking life.
He's going to fancy events, safaris. He's around exotic animals. He's a cardiology consultant. And he's just like traveling the world. His family's really successful and kind of like well-known in Kenya.
But like, guess who else has a lot going on? Kirat. Her life is awesome. She's progressing in her marketing career. She says she does these big events. We see these pictures. She like does music festivals with emerging artists.
It's really cool. But my thing is, I'm like, okay, Bobby, you're talking to Kirat regularly for months. They've never met. And he's confiding in her about like how stressed he is. Like weird behavior for someone who's married, talking pretty intimately to your little brother's girlfriend's cousin you've never met. Keep it in your pants, Bobby.
Yes. Here's what the one thing that I was thinking about during all of this, because Kirat and Bobby are going to talk for a very long time without meeting in person. I just remember my international friends in college. This was normal. Like Europe is different than America. People travel. They've got friends from all over, countries everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not like necessarily a weird thing, especially back in 2010, to like make a friend on the internet that you don't know in real life.
Pouring your heart out to your little brother's girlfriend's cousin?
Yes, I guess that's true. I mean, it's undeniably flirty. You know what I mean?
It's a little too
Even though
intimate.
he's in a relationship, she's in a relationship.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit like, what's going on? Is this like an emotional affair, Bobby?
Yeah.
Keep it in your pants.
I'm starting off thinking that Bobby's a pretty good guy.
Okay.
It's called Sweet Bobby, after all.
Well, we've been burned before, haven't we? So everything's going great, right? But eventually...
Everything's coming up Bobby until it's not.
Coming up Bobby. His life starts to fall apart.
Yeah.
His wife cheats on him. He files for divorce. And of course, Kirat is there to be a shoulder to lean on. In fact, she has relationship issues of her own because she's 32 and she's been with this guy on and off since she's 18. It's a 14-year-old situationship.
And she's talking about how like...
This guy sucks.
He sucks. And what I want to say about Kirat is that she's one of those people who ever since she was a little kid dreamed of getting married. She says at one point she wanted to like get married and have kids young. Like she wanted to be like married with kids in her 20s. That's her dream in life.
Well,
and this guy is like stringing her. The boyfriend that she's been with for 18 years is totally stringing her along.
Me and my partner had been together on and off since I was 18. But as soon as we got close to getting married, they'd just get cold feet. They'd disappear for a year. And then as soon as I kind of tried to move on, he would reappear. And I would always go back to him because it was like that whole loyalty, that whole how I'd been brought up.
And then the minute she'd get over him, he'd come calling.
Yeah.
And like Kirat is a catch and he's an asshole. But
Kirat, can we focus on how much of a catch she is for a second? She's so smart. She's driven. She's motivated. She's beautiful. She's got a tight-knit family. She describes herself as like the responsible one in her friend group. Like it's why Bobby can lean on her when he leaves the wife for having cheated on him. Like she is just a rock of a person.
yeah, and I'm just really pissed off because this whole thing about her parents who are here to confirm the pressure they're putting on her to get married and have kids right this minute, because without doing that, she's useless.
Now, I want to say, because I was ready to be there too, but I do want to say that, like, we meet the parents, the mom and the dad are here, and I do feel like they make the point to say, we want her to get married because that's what she wants, but we want her to be happy. Like, I do feel, you're not buying it.
I'm not buying it at all. Because, I mean,
Fam, if you're going to see the daggers I was getting shot.
I think this is a major reason why we're here.
I agree.
Because they say marriage is super important to us. We've always been very clear about this. They say all parents want to be grandparents. Lie.
Right.
I have 2 parents who don't give a shit about that.
Is that right? They never cared?
They never cared.
Good
We've had
for them.
conversations about my parents like always knew from
you
when I
don't
was
have kids.
pretty young
Yeah.
that like they're like, we're shocked you even got married.
It's the only thing that you and Daisy don't have in common.
Like, I just was never, my mom always knew that was not, and I was never pressured. Like, did they have conversations amongst themselves about what I don't know, but it never made it to me. We've had conversations like pretty recently, like with the 4 of us, me and Mike and my parents at the dinner table being like, our life's fucking great.
Yeah.
And they're not like, really? I've never gotten even a whiff of like, you sure? Because I was just like fully understood, and I feel so lucky and grateful.
Amazing.
So I'm standing here with a very different perspective.
No,
but
and we should also point out, though, and I'm not trying to be argumentative, but Kirat also wants it for herself.
And I agree, and I wonder how much of that is because she didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, and it's societal pressure, you know what I mean?
Because her mother says if the girl doesn't get married, you're kind of looked down on. Oh my God, why isn't she married?
Yeah.
So in my notes I don't have anything nice to say here, so I'm not going to say anything at all. Except for the fact that I believe this is a major
What a boring
reason.
podcast it would be if that was really the truth. Oh my God.
This is a big part of why we're here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because, and also, like, because she's a catch, she was proposed to a bunch of times, but she always said no because she was holding out for that idiot who's dragging her along for 15 years. And that's no shade to Kirat. This happens to amazing women all the time.
Absolutely.
So Roshni is here. She's awesome. She's Kirat's cousin.
But like Kirat was more like her cool older sister.
And she says, like, amongst the cousins, like, Kirat was the cool kid, and she had really great advice, and everyone always went to her for advice.
And Roshni confirms.
I've been with Gird when she's received comments of, have you found someone yet? Or do you need us to find you someone?
A couple of weddings, I've been sat at the kids' table.
A couple of weddings I've gone to, I've been seated at the kids' table.
Okay,
that is some bullshit.
And this is like, and you wonder why she wants to get married so badly? So that she's seen as a fucking person.
Right.
Like, she only has value if she's married and has kids. And like, I understand. I'm going to be really careful here because I do understand that, like, and I agree, keeping your culture is super fucking important.
Yeah.
But like, some shit should be left in the Stone Age where it belongs. And that's how I feel.
The seating the adult at the kids' table because she's not married, that
Are
is
you fucking kidding me?
So offensive.
So she would vent about this to Bobby, who was always nice and supportive, and reminding her that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a 32-year-old unmarried woman.
Yeah.
Because there's not.
Right. Oh my God. What if I was like, well.
Like, I would walk, honestly,
can
I
you
would walk the
imagine?
fuck out of here and I would never look back. I would
You'd
be like,
set it on fire like that house
really?
in the lake episode from Vegas.
And yes, I would just be done.
Totally. I don't think
And
we
they'd
would have
all
gotten
come
very
with me.
far.
They'd all
Honestly,
follow me right out the door.
I don't think we would have gotten this far if that was how I felt.
And also now I'm just like, then you would have to air this.
I know.
You would make up some story about me. Like, she
Julia
ran
died.
away like a thief in the night.
Totally. She
She's
took my
crazy.
wallet.
One of those crazy women. Blame it on me. So Bobby and Kirat, they eventually fall out of touch a little bit. Life happens. He's getting divorced. Like, they both have their personal shit. A few months go by, and then Bobby reaches out to catch up.
Yeah.
And it turns out he really wants to tell her that not only did he get divorced, but it's been like maybe a year, he's already engaged again. I'm like, man, this guy Bobby's a walking red flag.
Is he?
It's a lot.
I don't know.
Who is he? What's going on with him?
He seems like a catch to me.
I don't know.
I don't know. We've never been at odds like
I'm
this
like,
before.
what are you doing here?
I love the parents. I want to marry Bobby.
I know it's called Sweet Bobby, but obviously he's a piece of shit. I'm like, Bobby, what are you doing? You're married already? Like, what's happening?
Well, we see a video of the proposal. His bride-to-be, her name is Sanj, and he proposes to her in a hot air balloon.
Yeah, I'm like, are they in the air?
They're in the air. And I don't like it because all I can think of is you're going to drop the ring. You're in a hot air balloon. You're going to drop the fucking ring. What are you going to fall out of that little basket? And
I know, it's very
Can we
scary.
just end hot air balloons?
They're scary.
You know what I mean?
Are they bad for the earth? Probably.
Probably, but like it's a very scary. You're in a basket 25,000
like,
feet in the air.
slowly?
Slowly.
Like, where's the thrill? I don't get it.
Do you have a parachute? Are there parachutes in there?
You better.
A
Like, what
bungee
is
cord?
the equivalent of a life vest?
I don't
You have
know.
one for a boat. What do you have in the
You just
hot air
stay on
balloon?
the ground.
You just like float down slowly like a feather? No. You plummet to your death.
That's the only way to get out of a
the
hot
only
air
way.
balloon. Yeah.
Or
They
slowly
just
come
cut
down.
the wires and you die.
Or you slowly.
Yeah.
Well, this was fun. Like, how long are you in that hot air balloon, really?
Were hot air balloons always meant to be like a romantic thing, or were they ever actually used for travel? That's my question.
I think they were used
For travel?
or maybe not just travel.
You know
but
what, Mom? Can I get the keys to the hot air balloon?
I could see the old timey like
Totally.
waving down to all the townspeople.
I will travel by hot air balloon. I will arrive in 3 days hence.
I'm sure that is what happened. I'll see you in a fortnight. Kirat is a little little worried. She's like, I don't love the rebound. I think she's a little jealous too.
Kirat is definitely jealous.
But she's like, oh my God, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So Bobby wants Kirat and Sanj to be friends, which makes zero sense. But they become friends on
Zero
Facebook.
sense. Yeah.
I am invited to the wedding, and due to family circumstances at that time, I just couldn't go.
Due to family circumstances at the time, I couldn't go. We don't get any details on that, but remember that because it'll come back later.
Right.
It'll come back later.
Oh my God. You're right.
Just remember that.
Put a pin.
And because she's like, due to family circumstances, I couldn't go.
Put a pin in it the way I would imagine you would put a pin in the hot air balloon to land.
Yeah.
Because like, you gotta pop the thing. Yeah.
And are you like coming in for landing like a plane where you're just landing for like a mile, or are you slowly just coming down?
Do you have to live in a part of the world where you can put those huge X's on the ground?
The amount I don't care about hot air balloon descent. I just don't.
I love the idea.
I feel myself not caring about it.
But I love the idea that they were at one point the cars of the time.
I hope everyone had a lovely time. I hope everyone had that little like you're in like the picnic basket.
Totally, It's
a picnic basket with a balloon.
How you get there. Seems like you could have put the engineering.
They worked with what they had.
Brainery into something a little bit more efficient.
Well, they did. I mean, look at us now. We landed on the moon for Christ's sake.
Too many cars.
So we're getting lots of like really intimate and probably inappropriate, a little too familiar. They've never met in person. Again, it's Bobby's little brother's girlfriend's cousin.
Yes.
That they've never met in real life.
Well, I mean, so one of the things we know about Kirat is that she has a radio show.
But it's also, it's also weird that they haven't met because the cousin that she's super close with is dating this guy's little brother.
Yes.
And they've never met in real life. And I thought they live in this like tight-knit community where everybody knows each other. How have they not crossed paths?
Here's why I think they haven't met. Because they probably know that the relationship is inappropriate. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like they can't probably meet. It feels very sexually unspoken.
But not even like in passing?
Well, they did meet
weird.
in Brighton. You know what I mean? Like they met at the nightclub that one time. He didn't seem to know who she was, weirdly.
Weird. I know. So years go by. Everyone is in touch. Kirat, Bobby's wife. Are the little brother and cousin still dating?
We don't know.
Unclear.
This is a great documentary, by the way.
Yeah.
But can we get the documentary about hot air balloons?
No, you can watch it. You know what? That's something that my dad would fall asleep watching on a Sunday afternoon.
Totally. The invention of the hot air balloon.
He would be like super
Hosted
fascinated for 5 minutes and then he'd be asleep.
Totally.
So Kirat is super cool and fun and she has a radio show.
Right. So one Thursday, Kirat is at work doing her radio show and she's got Facebook open because that's how she connects with some of her listeners. She sees a post from Sanj, who's Bobby's wife.
On my Facebook feed, Sanj has posted a photo of Bobby with a comment saying Bobby's been shot several times in Kenya. He's in a critical condition and he's in a coma.
Fighting for his life in critical condition.
He's been shot in Kenya.
In Kenya, yeah.
And please keep Bobby in your thoughts and prayers. He didn't deserve this at all.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, Kirat's cousin Simran is also in Kenya. She was dating Bobby's little brother. And Kirat says they're old family friends and they're quite close. So thank goodness Simran is on the ground and we can get some information from her.
Yeah, it's funny because Kirat is a wreck over this. And we get her aunt who's like, we were trying to be around and be supportive of her because her friend was in really bad shape. But I took notice that this was a little bit more than like a regular friendship. Like the aunt is the first to be like, what's going on here?
She's caring a lot for someone she's never met. And what happened is horrifying. I'm just saying, her whole world was turned upside down.
Yes.
And, Kirat asks her cousin Simran what's going on. And her cousin's like, oh my God, he's a fighter. I'm like, wow, okay. You're super close with this guy and super close with your cousin, but you've never met. Okay.
Well, and so here's the thing. I looked it up because I was like, they've never had a FaceTime. Like, how is it that you've been friends for 3 years? You're
invited to the wedding.
Invited to the wedding. You're friends with his new wife, but no one's ever been like, let's do a FaceTime happy hour. FaceTime was not a thing until 2010.
Okay.
This was like a year after this.
Skype was a thing.
Skype was huge. That's what I remember from college. All of my friends
you
were
can video chat on WhatsApp,
yes.
which is what they were using.
Yes. So it is like, and we know this is a catfish because it's in the title, so it's not a spoiler, but like there comes a point in all of these things where people are being willfully blind to things that are kind of glaring.
Because it was drilled into Kirat to get married and have kids and fall in love and be with somebody.
But I'm just saying that like this guy is married. Like you're not going to be with a married guy, but you're continuing the relationship anyway. But like, so it makes it even weirder if you're just friends. Why have you never had a Skype? Not one time.
And I wonder if there's that willful ignorance of this is fun and harmless, and I don't give a shit who he is or isn't, but I'm getting attention. And it's no shade. It's just like...
Yeah, it's all wrapped into that.
She went through a bad breakup, and this is a safe thing. They don't want to meet because then it's real, and so she can just like be really looking forward to her messages on a daily basis.
Oh my God,
like,
that's very plausible.
It could be, and that's like, fine.
So witness protection's about to enter the chat.
So one day Simran calls, and this call changes everything. Simran, the cousin dating the little brother, says, oh my God, Kirat, you'll never guess.
She tells me Bobby's in witness protection in a hospital in New York, recovering from his awful injuries. Witness protection? New York. What is going on? I didn't understand.
He's in New York City in a hospital. He's been escorted there by Interpol from Kenya to New York.
Now, friends, can we just say the quickest way to know that somebody is not in witness protection is by somebody telling you that they are?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind forever going forward. If somebody's ever like, my friend is in witness protection, or the guy that you like that's married to that other guy who's the brother of my cousin's boyfriend is in witness protection, no, they aren't.
No, they aren't.
No, they aren't. And that's the right time to fire up the old Skype account and have a face-to-face.
But what happens is, because they've been talking for so long, Kirat's like, holy shit, witness protection. That means he's in danger.
Yes.
Like, he comes from this really fancy pants family. Something happened. Like, his family was famous in Kenya. Could he be targeted? And Kirat explains to us that at the time, she says, people being shot in Kenya wasn't unusual.
Right.
So she's like, oh my God, what is going on?
But like, we see her Googling witness protection program, and like, why is the first search result, like, if you're Googling this, the person who told you about it is not in witness protection.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's like, it should just be like a 404.
I love you and I feel for you, but like, some of this was glaring.
So, especially because Bobby then messages Kirat, it's a brand new profile for his protection. The protection from my enemies train is never late. We did this in Bad Vegan. We did this in Puppet Master. Please. So he's in witness protection due to a, quote, bad business deal. And he's breaking all the rules messaging her, which again, like, that raises the stakes even more. They do this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, we know that this isn't how witness protection works, but it is how scammers work.
Right.
They use these high-profile government shit to raise the stakes and get their victims to feel more invested. Again, Bad Vegan, Puppet Master, Tinder Swindler, my enemies, my enemies. It's the same shit.
I know. And now Kirat is feeling like, just by her proximity to Bobby, could she possibly be in danger? But then now suddenly Bobby is suicidal?
Well, because he's not doing well. He's so depressed and he's stressed out, and now his second marriage is falling apart. He has no one. He only has Kirat. This is all by design. This is exactly what he wanted. And on top of it, after 18 years of bullshit, Kirat and that shitty on-again, off-again boyfriend break up for good.
Yeah.
And I say good riddance to the smallest man who ever lived, except for maybe Bobby.
And so, but the thing is, like, Kirat is really worried about disappointing her parents because now that marriage is not going to happen.
Well, she's 35 years old. She might as well be dead.
I know, but
she's
her
not married.
Her mom is here to say,
I felt very upset because they had dreams together. They were planning the wedding. Kirat was thinking that she's going to let us down because we were always hoping for her to just get married and settled. I always say it's not her fault. We are always there to support her.
we are always here to support you. Like, they didn't want her to marry somebody that she didn't love.
But they are disappointed.
I guess.
They're disappointed. They're like saying it. They're disappointed that she is a woman of 35 and she's unmarried and she doesn't have kids. They are definitively disappointed.
Wait until she does get engaged and the mom is like, well, this can't happen unless your dad says yes.
Well, we'll get into that. And at one point they're like, we don't even have to like the guy. Just fucking get married. You're useless.
Oh my God.
So Bobby and Kirat now, of course, they find support in each other. They're helping each other through this horrible time. They're always checking in on each other. And great news, witness protection people give him permission to speak to Kirat because they're both so sad and need a friend.
I know.
So the special witness protection people.
This would just never happen.
Well, it's the worst witness protection I've ever seen because it's fake. But the amount of people that this guy is allowed to... First of all, he doesn't change his name. He gets to be Bobby.
Yeah.
And his friend Yash, Bobby's cousin, Witsec approved. He's a great guy, super funny. He's like
a clown.
He's like the funny one.
Yeah.
He's reporting back to Kirat. Rajveer, another good friend of Bobby's, also Witsec approved.
He gets himself on Bobby's witness protection medical team.
Yeah.
Like, what a
Don't worry, everyone. Rajveer is here to be a medic and also like the go between.
I know. Can I just tell you, I love these names. I think they are so beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Rajveer is like, just saying the name is like, I have a friend named Hami. Like, I love these names.
It's beautiful.
I love them.
So the three of them are in a group chat called the Three Amigos. They're
Yes.
all just like super, super tight buds.
You hate everything.
Because, and again, like, we have the privilege of
Yes.
seeing 15 documentaries about this. And Kirat is just sitting here like her friend is in trouble. And to me, I resent the fact that people get away with this shit.
Yes.
And it makes me crazy. But Kirat, we have to remember, and by the end of this, you'll understand how long, like, this
10
was
years.
not overnight. It was 10.
A decade.
And it started really slowly, and there was a lot of patience.
And what's so sad about it is that all she wanted was to be married young with kids.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to do this in her youth.
Even though, like, they're not romantic right now.
Yes. But then
One day, he tells me he loves me. I totally ignored that comment. I was adamant he was not in the right headspace. I know I wasn't in the right place to start a new relationship.
So it's 4 years of chatting.
yeah.
Thousands of messages, and one day, again with the fucking drama, I love you too much. This isn't good.
Yeah. And she tries to ignore it.
But this is important. I want to slow down on this. Kirat's like, I can't, I'm in a bad place. You're in a bad place.
Yeah.
Like, she goes to the group chat, talks to her inner circle, and everyone is like, no, this is real. This is real. This is real. So also, like, aren't these people like 40? It's all like so high school in the bad way. Like going, like, let me go to the group chat to make sure and it's like,
oh God, would I fall for this?
Yes, in the moment, that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
In the moment, like, it's kind of fun. He's
girl,
a witness
I
protection.
need this.
But you don't, though.
I know.
Like, you're married. You know what I mean?
No. I don't mean like I don't mean like me. Like, I don't really need this, but like I can see the sort of like star-crossed appeal.
But there's something about it that's like kind of fun and sexy
Remember
and dangerous.
when you remind me that I was married?
I know. But there is something about it that's like fun and sexy and dangerous and kind of harmless. And there's no world in which anyone is thinking it's going to end how it ends.
Right.
So for Kirat, it's like, whatever.
But, the other thing too is that like Kirat has now established this community because it's not just Bobby. It's his wife who's now out of the picture, but also his cousins and his friends.
And it's kind of fun to say, like, he loves me not? I don't know.
I will say her instinct was to say no. Her instinct was to say, no, you don't love me. We've never met. You're in a bad place. But it's all of the supporting characters who are like, no, girl, this is real.
So then she has not responded to the I love you.
Yeah.
But disaster strikes once more. Bobby has a stroke. His body's giving up. One of his friends sends a photo of Bobby in the hospital, which is a Google image of like someone on their deathbed. You can't see anyone clearly.
Yes.
But the friends ask Kirat to record an anonymous goodbye message because Bobby's dying.
Yes.
And we hear the message and
It is so sad.
she is crying and she's like,
I love you so much, Bobby. Whatever it is we have, it's special. I wish things could have been different. If I could just hold you once. I'll never forget you. I love you, Bobby.
I want to slow down on what happened. He said, I love you. She didn't immediately respond. Suddenly, the worst thing in the world happens, forcing her to get more emotionally attached.
Yeah.
And now that she's right where he wants her, he's on the mend.
Fine. He's on the mend.
I'm not saying this to shade Kirat. I'm saying this as a warning.
Yes.
Like, this has been a gradual con for 4 years. Learn from this, everyone. Like, watch what happened. He said, I love you. She said no. Disaster. High stakes. Emotion. Oh my God, I do love you. Like, this is all planned.
The other thing that is mind-boggling is it's been 4 years. He told her that he loves her. They've never spoken on the phone. And guess what?
Well, now
his
he can't.
He's lost his voice in the stroke.
He's paralyzed on one side because of the stroke.
Yeah.
So, but he has just enough movement to keep up the thousands and thousands of messages. Thank God.
Yes.
The messages are super lovey-dovey. They are committed completely. They are now in a full-on relationship. They are boyfriend-girlfriend.
Yeah, and they're talking every single day. She's sending him like endless voice notes, and he can't talk, so he would type back.
Or squeak at her, or knock on the table.
Yeah,
They're totally one-sided from Kirat's end. No video from Bobby, no voice from Bobby. He would squeak at her.
Yes.
Or tap on the table, tap 3 times if I love you.
The producer asks her, was there a sexual side to your relationship?
She shuts that shit down
shuts
immediately.
it down.
But there was.
They're having phone sex.
They're intimate.
Yeah.
And Kirat doesn't care about the haters because she's like, it's all online. Yes, he doesn't speak. But what she says is she felt loved and respected, and that's all she ever wanted.
And honestly, like, you're right. The clock for her is ticking. This is the guy now. She like, let that other guy string her along for 18 years, and that's no shade to Kirat. Like, he was not treating her well. Yes. And now, like, if she's going to get married and, like, have the dream of having kids, it's now or never. And,
she's being sat at the kids' table at weddings. She's not being treated like a fully formed 35-year-old woman. And she's okay. It's okay to not be married and have kids. And she's being told by everyone around her that it's not.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that she really does want kids. And Bobby is dangling like he really wants kids, too. So this is the guy. She is all in.
And so Bobby proposes to her
via some new feature on Facebook?
This, like, chat drawing feature, because he can't video chat with her and he can't speak.
The question was more like, that's not still a feature of Facebook. I've never seen that.
I don't know. But he draws it. He draws the proposal. He draws like a little ring.
She says...
I mean, it's quite an unusual way to do it. But I don't need a big extravagant proposal. Of course, all girls dream of them, but lots of things seem like they're superficial and for show. So an understated proposal is good enough.
This is fine. I'll take it.
Well, the clock is ticking. Her words. She's 36 years old, practically dead. And they're planning the wedding online. And everything is so fancy that the ring he chose actually had too many diamonds. I mean, he never bought it. He just sent her the link to the ring that he'll one day buy her.
Yes.
Still too many diamonds.
Too many diamonds.
But the engagement isn't official because her families have to meet. But this engagement still means a lot to Kirat because this means that she's finally getting everything she wants and everything her family's pushing on her. But it's like not official in her culture until both the families meet.
And the big thing about this is that Bobby is talking to the mom too, and the mom is like, his voice was real weird because he's squeaking, he's tapping, he's mostly typing. Bobby is saying to the mom, please, please, please don't tell your husband. I know it is customary to tell the husband, have the husband go to Kenya and meet my family and approve of this. I want to tell him in person. I'm going to get there just as soon as I can.
Because I'm not fully healed yet. And I'm in witness protection and my stroke. Like, I want this to be the best meeting ever. So if everyone could just sort of hold tight, I want to be my best version of myself before I meet the father.
So the dad does not know.
So the dad doesn't know, but everyone else is in a group chat on Facebook.
Right. Oh, by the way, he's still in witness protection.
And I'm like, can I just stop on this for 2 fucking seconds?
Yeah.
When you are in witness protection,
I know. You're working at Cinnabon in the mall and you're never seeing anyone ever again.
My name is Shirley.
Yes.
I'm wearing brightly colored clothes. I'm Cinnabon in the mall.
Yes.
You, as you are, you cease to exist.
Yes.
You never, ever speak to your family again. Your mother's sick and she dies, too bad. You never talk and you leave in the middle. I'm serious.
Yeah, no, I know.
You become a different person.
Yes.
Did you guys catch the Better Call Saul reference? The Cinnabon in the mall?
Okay, I made it first.
In Nebraska?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every Cinnabon employee is in the witness protection. You can't tell me it's not.
Right. Or are they or aren't they? But the point is, you don't keep your name. You can't still speak to everyone you know.
No, you literally are dead to everybody. Everybody wonders where you went. You got beamed up to another planet.
Who you are, poof, you cease to exist. And no matter what.
Yeah.
Maybe. No matter what, you're never talking to anybody again.
Guess who is not a good candidate for witness protection? Ms. Patrick Hines. Can you imagine? I would be calling you in 2 minutes.
Well, you just wouldn't go.
I'm in witness protection.
You just wouldn't. They wouldn't take you.
They would not
They'd
take
be like,
me.
you're on your own, kid.
We're
not doing that.
You should not have informed on the mob.
Like,
I'm sorry. You should have known better.
The rule,
Jillian told you.
It's been very clear.
Girl, it's me. I did it.
I'd be like, No, I would never rat. I'm no rat. But I'd have to act like I don't know you.
I know.
Like, that would be it.
I know.
I'd be like, wrong number, bye.
You're being really rulesy about this, Jillian.
Yeah, bye. For your own safety. So the father doesn't know about it, but all the cousins are in the chat, right?
Yeah.
Like her cool cousin / sister Roshni, who's here with us, like she attests, like all the cousins are in the chat.
Yeah.
Kirat's in there.
And Roshni is saying she really connected with Bobby, and Bobby is a doctor. And Roshni importantly says,
I was classic teenager, super angsty. Bobby was a doctor. So I started to speak to Bobby about how I was feeling. And he gives good advice, and I feel like I've been listened to and heard.
and he really made me feel like seen and heard.
Yeah, so he was talking to people, but like, if Bobby could speak, it would only be by the squeaky whisper. And please don't talk about it.
Yeah,
he's very self-conscious. He almost died, you dick. Like, don't mention it. And the family is like, honestly, we don't really even care about the voice. Just get married.
I know.
Please just get married and have kids. You're 36. You might as well be dead. We don't have to like the guy. Please just get married. This is all about us and our disappointment. It's not about you. Get married. You're useless. Get married. We don't even care about the voice this anymore.
No,
God
I know.
damn it.
Well, and the other
what do
thing
you want to
too-
be at the kids' table for the rest of your life? You idiot. Get
Exactly.
married.
She is on video. He can't be on video because of witness protection.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Call the hospital.
I know.
So-
it's just like everything is right there.
I'd love to know the lie about why everyone in his life is allowed to see him and visit him and speak to him except for Kirat.
Right.
I would love to know. I mean, they left this out, but like, what is the lie?
Yeah. Good question.
That he told her.
Yeah.
So everything is perfect, and then disaster strikes yet again because this is how the scammers keep you invested. Bobby tells Kirat
on Father's Day
that he cheated on her, and Sanj, his ex-wife, is having his baby.
Yeah.
Yet another person he's allowed to speak to in witness protection
And have sex with.
He was in a coma, he had a stroke, he can't move, he can't speak, and he had sex with this person.
Yes.
No, but apparently, I'm like, what? But apparently, this was like 7 or 8 months ago before they got together, so she's having the baby like right now.
Yes.
This was 8 months ago.
You know, and Kirat is saying like it all just felt, the betrayal that she's feeling is a lot. And she's like, it also just felt really unfair knowing how much I wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's devastating. And her cousin Simran is here because Simran, remember, is dating Bobby's little brother.
Yes.
And she's really, really close to the family. And she's the one who was like on the ground in Kenya giving Kirat all these updates. So Kirat is really confiding in cousin Simran.
And Kirat says,
And poor Simran, I am constantly messaging her. No matter what Bobby did, she's like, but he loves you. You know he loves you. I feel like she's got that soft spot for Bobby for whatever reason.
She's here to like vouch for Bobby.
yeah, and Kirat finally says, she's like, I sent him a straightforward message that said, the baby I can handle, but I don't want Sanj in my life.
Kirat, that's impossible.
To which I
You're
said,
about
like-
to marry this guy. He
Yeah.
has your husband has a child with another woman. This woman's in your life forever.
That's just how it is.
It's just, but Bobby's like, okay, like, please.
And also, this is another moment where some members of the family are like, what is going on here? Like, this is an eye-opener for
I know
other
she's a
members of the
useless
family.
unmarried woman, but maybe maybe this guy isn't a bad idea.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not the best idea. So Kirat is talking, and like it's just all gets so childish because like Kirat is talking to more of Bobby's cousins and saying things like, "If I stay with him, will you talk to him for me?"
Yes.
It's like this is just not. It's just not a good relationship. Like all the
No.
red flags too. It's just like it's so immature.
It's bad. It's bad. And you feel for Kirat because she wants it so badly.
Yeah.
And she's like a good, sweet person who deserves love, you know?
So Sanj, the ex-wife, gives birth. We see all these photos. Bobby and Sanj look very happy together.
I know.
Like they've been together this whole time.
Very cute baby.
And Kirat just, you know.
And by the way, Bobby does not look like a person who's had 3 heart attacks and a stroke and
No.
was shot 6 times. He looks pretty good.
And like these pictures are being posted on Facebook in witness protection.
I know. I know.
Why do we have all these photos?
I know.
So even though Kirat says, I don't want anything to do with Sanj,
Bobby makes an effort to include me in everything.
Have you decided on a name?
We spent a couple of nights choosing names. He really liked Javier. We chose baby clothes.
Picking out baby clothes.
yeah, like, and then he'd send her the photos of his son in the clothes that
they
Kirat
picked. Yeah.
So convoluted and weird. And also, like, what hospital is he in New York City? Because they suck at this. Also,
Right.
he's not really there.
No.
But
Yeah.
you're thinking it's been 18 months.
Yeah.
They got together after he was already in the hospital. Like, Witzek didn't move him to a safer location. Like, with all this other drama, we've all kind of forgotten about the witness protection part of it.
I know.
Because of the baby and the
I know.
cheating and the high stakes. It's like, whatever.
Well, so they're 18 months into their relationship. They say there's been many attempts to try to bring Kirat and Bobby together. That Rajveer, his cousin, who's also on his medical team in witness protection, is trying to make it happen. But witness protection gives their decision and they still have to wait.
Now, Bobby convinces a nurse to give cousin Simran one of his old shirts, and cousin Simran is going to give it to Kirat. And like, this is why I'm like, I'd love to know the bullshit story about why Kirat is the only person in his life not allowed to see him.
I know. Well, the whole deal is that like Simran's going to New York for a job, and that's where Bobby's in the
but
hospital.
he can cheat on Kirat with his ex-wife, but
Yeah.
the love of his life can't
Well,
be on that list of
And my
approved
question
people.
is like, if you're Kirat, why aren't you just getting on a plane and going to New York?
There's a million reasons why.
Yeah.
He's told a million reasons why.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I would have the same questions as you. Why can everybody see you but me?
And there's always some high stakes reason. And remember, all of these people are telling her the same thing. So
Yes.
she like
The cousins, everyone's
any
like-
question she has, like her own, like Simran is telling her, they're all like, they all are on the inside somehow, and
Yeah.
Kirat's the outsider, and she's kind of like, well, if everyone's telling me the same thing, like, and I'm seeing the photos,
Yeah.
I mean,
and like he's telling her every day that he loves her, that everything is great, they're going to be together forever. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure that Bobby is saying all the right things to her too.
yeah, and so Kirat meets up with her cousin, and they do the shirt handoff, and it like smells like his cologne, and he's
Yeah.
asking her like, wear my shirt and send me pictures of it, and they're kind of like sexy
I mean,
pictures.
I kind of love it.
If it was real.
I know.
Because like the thing is, Bobby also sucks. Like
Yeah.
he's controlling, he's a bummer.
Well, he makes a big change here. He's gone from being this like really sweet, caring guy to being like a really controlling, abusive monster.
Right. So everything's a fight.
But I found myself walking on eggshells because he was sensitive to absolutely everything. If I needed to go through the bathroom, I didn't want to wake him up. So quietly, I just go. It's like, where were you? If I wasn't on the other end of the phone line, it upset him.
She needs permission for everything. Everything's an emergency.
And
He's
she- and
picking
he's-
fights with her.
He's also really depressed and is leaning on her for everything.
like, what kind of relationship is this?
She says like they'd be on the phone all night. Now she's on the phone on video. He's on the phone only on voice.
Squeaking and tapping the table.
If he falls asleep and she gets up to go to the bathroom and then he wakes up while she's gone, he flips out.
And the minute
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And the minute she'd put up a boundary, like here comes the text. Oh, he's flatlining. Oh,
Yeah.
he's dying.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
all his friends, and now her friends, every time she'd put up a boundary or pull away, there'd be something to like pull her back in.
Yes, and her friends and her cousins are saying to us in the documentary, we'd come over just to see her. She'd be on the phone with him the entire time. Like her cousin is like, I was there for an hour and there were like 3 emergencies.
Like, she is now spiraling. She gives up her job.
Yeah.
She gives up her radio show. This is her entire life. And for what? For the stupid flowers he'd send?
Can we talk about why she gives up the radio show? The radio show is everything to her. She loves it.
I'm doing one of my final radio shows of the year, and he's on the Skype call with me. And I'm answering calls, doing my thing as usual. And he says, I'm flirting. So to prove, I'm committed, I'm loyal, so I give up my show.
He flips out and is like, you were overly flirty. You were overly like affectionate with this one listener.
It's
She's
abusive.
like, what are you talking about? And in order to like quiet him and calm him and keep him, she quits the radio show.
Yeah, this is like coercive control. This is abuse. This is horrifying. And
now
like, for what?
She has
Kirat?
she lost her marketing job. Now she's lost her radio job. She is jobless now.
Yeah. And also, like, what are you going to do? Break up with the dying guy? Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's fucking his ex-wife? Like, what are you talking about?
But you're right about the societal pressure. She can't. This is her last chance in her mind.
Right.
You know?
In her mind. So he's lying all the time, all these broken promises. And now by this point, she's saying like she's 39 years old and she's had it. And she says to him, you know what? Enough is enough. Either you get your ass here now or this is over. Because she's starting to see the cracks in this. Like, if everyone else can see you, get your ass out of witness protection and get back to London or else.
And she's finally sort of starting to like revel in her own power. Like she's maybe starting to realize that that she has power here.
Because she gives him this ultimatum and like suddenly he can walk and suddenly he's out of the hospital and Witzek says it's okay. But he gets to England and Kirat, I'm like, Kirat, you're not even believing yourself here. Because she says, well, he gets to England and the two of them decided that she needs space.
Right.
So he gets there and doesn't immediately go to see her. He checks into a hotel.
Yes.
Because of all the drama, they have both decided. It's like, no, he convinced you to buy himself more time.
And he's saying, I'm sick. I'm not ready to see you. I want to see you. Can you imagine? It's been something like 8 years at this point.
Yes.
They've never met. She's never seen his face in like other than that one time in month 4 in Brighton or whatever. And he's in a hotel down the street, but you can't see him because he's not ready. And she would call him and he would yell at her for pressuring him. And I'm sick and I'm weak and I'm not ready yet.
Imagine how crazy she feels.
Yeah.
Imagine how much she's questioning her reality. So, like, he's back home.
Yes.
Days are going by. Weeks are going by. No Bobby. Oh, his phone died. Oh, he's tired. Oh, this, oh, that.
So I go to the hotel. I give Bobby's full name. And they can't find him. And I say he's been staying here for a couple of weeks at least now. And they're like, oh, there's nobody staying here by this name.
He's not there.
I mean, I'm screaming at this point because this is unlike Kirat, you know? Like, for her to finally be like, fuck it, I need answers. I'm going to do this now.
She's starting to lose her grip on reality, which is exactly what he wants. Like, he is making her crazy. And I'm not saying that lightly. I'm not saying that as a joke. She is questioning every sense of her reality, and that's exactly what he wants.
Yeah, it's been weeks that he's been in London and hasn't seen her. And so when the hotel people are like, we have nobody here by that name, she goes outside, she's screaming, she's crying. She calls Simran her cousin, because Simran's been the one who's been like helping her through all of this. And while she's talking to Simran, she gets a call from Bobby.
And Bobby's like, no. Oh my God, I told the hotel not to tell anyone I was here, you know, because of my enemies.
Yeah.
Like, he's so obviously full of shit.
And then he says to her, don't surprise me like that. Give me a couple of days. It's been weeks.
A couple of days for what?
He's been in London for weeks and he's right there. He's in the building I'm standing in front of, but he won't see me.
So she's like, okay, if he's not there, she thinks he's at some house that she thinks he has in Kensington.
Yeah. She's starting to say he's lying to me. She's
course.
finally starting to, it's really dawning on her. Something is really wrong here.
So she goes to this house in Kensington. He's not there.
Yeah.
Everything is falling apart because now she's like, okay, he's lying. She thinks that she's caught him in something, but she doesn't know exactly what. Like, she's feeling insane.
Because she gets to the neighborhood, she's got the address, and she's like, I can't find the house. And she's texting with him, and she's like, I'm in the neighborhood. I can't find your house. And he's saying, I can see you. I see you there on the street. I'm just not ready to see you
and
yet.
She's like, I know what this is. He's with his ex.
And that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
you know
Bobby's
what I mean?
with Sanj. They just had a baby together.
Yes.
Like, he's been stringing her along. He's really been with his ex this whole time.
Yes.
That's what she thinks. So she Googles Sanj and finds her phone number and calls Sanj.
So Sanj, remember, is the ex-wife who left him when he was like in the hospital, having been shot 6 times.
And then they had a baby.
Right. And so when Sanj answers the phone...
And they're like happily raising this baby together because Bobby and Kirat are picking out clothes for the baby. And then Sanj is posting pictures of this big happy family. So they are like together in a lot of ways.
Right. And so when Sanj answers the phone, she sounded as though she's like, hey, Bobby, is that you? Where are you? As though she was expecting him to call. And this confirms Kirat's worst fears. That like they are in a relationship. They are talking all the time. He's lying to her about everything that's happening. So she doesn't say anything. She hangs up.
But what does she do? She goes to Sanj's house.
Yeah, Sanj's parents'
house. And she, like, sees Sanj with the baby.
Now, this is crazy making to me because Sanj and Kirat were friends. For years and years, they were friends on Facebook.
Right.
And she sees Sanj with the baby, and Kirat says, she walked right in front of my car.
And I remember, like, one bit of me so angry, I want to just turn the engine on and just, like, put my foot down the accelerator, but that's not me. And I was just like, I was scared. I was so scared.
It was everything I could do to not floor it and run that bitch over.
Right. And for whatever reason, Sanj, I guess, eyes on the baby, doesn't see her sitting there.
Yeah.
So, but this, like, just see something about seeing Sanj in real life with the baby that came from cheating.
It's another situation with Bobby where, like, she's been communicating with her on Facebook all these years, but she's never met her. She's never seen her.
Yeah. But there's something about seeing her where Kirat's like, oh my God, like, I can't handle this.
Yes.
She feels like she's losing her mind. So she hires a private investigator.
This is my favorite thing. Like, I love that Kirat is 0 to 100.
And in like 2 seconds, she gets Bobby's current address, which is 2 hours away in Brighton.
Which is like, she said, all I wanted from the private investigator was his current address. I thought he was at the hotel. He wasn't there. I thought he was at that house. He said he was there, but I knew it was a lie. Where is he actually? And she gets the address.
And she gets in her car and she goes immediately.
I am screaming with her in the car.
And now this is when Bobby enters the frame and sits on the couch, and you are ready to jump through the screen and strangle this guy. He's sitting there like he did nothing wrong. And I'm like, answer for yourself, you scumbag.
I know.
He sits there and he kind of like, and he's sitting like not a care in the world. And I'm like, fucking talk. Let's hear it. And we hear it from his perspective what happens because he takes over the storytelling.
Which I was a little bit like, this is Kirat's story. Don't give it to the man. But okay,
But also like answer for yourself.
All
right, let's hear some bullshit. Let's hear what happens.
Because she pulls up to the driveway. She gets out. She walks through the door. Cuts to Bobby. Now it's Bobby's point of view.
So the doorbell rings. He opens the door and Bobby's like, I see this woman walking away from my house, like down the driveway.
It was very Money Pit where the plumber rings the doorbell and turns and walks away.
2 weeks.
Like, I'm like, Kirat. I'm like, you're not going to wait 5 minutes to see if somebody answers her. She rings the doorbell, turns and leaves.
I hear you and now laughing at me, Fielding. I'm in here. Where? In the floor
Oh
behind the chair.
When he slips into the floor, I thought I was going to have a heart attack from
I
laughing.
thought the Care Bears were here.
Oh my God, that is
Hallucinating.
you know Tom Hanks doesn't like the movie.
Okay, Tom Hanks, that's the one thing he's wrong about.
I know.
That can't be true.
It's true.
Why?
I did a little mini deep dive for my other thing, and
Why?
I don't know. He just says he thinks it's not that funny.
Okay, well, everyone makes mistakes.
I know.
And his mistake is not liking the money
I
pit.
couldn't agree more.
Right, so Bobby opens the door and he's like, I see this woman walking away from my house down the driveway, but I'm like, why is she walking away?
I know.
But then they sort of make contact, and then Kirat starts walking back towards the house, and then Sanj is here.
Can we stop for 1 second? Because it just has to be said. I know we don't like this. Everybody in this documentary is so physically attractive.
They're really, yeah.
Sanj, I mean, it happened with Kirat too. Sanj took my breath away.
Yeah.
I could not believe how beautiful she was.
And she's like, shut up, I have a story to tell. I'm terrified.
I know. And also Bobby is sexy as hell.
So, like Sanj, the ex, the mother of his baby. Oh my God. So Bobby and Sanj are now at the front door. Now they are telling the story.
She says, "Hi, Bobby. It's me, Kirat." My wife Sanj is like, "Bobby, who is this?"
And, he just looked at me and he said,
I have no idea who this lady is. I've never spoken to her in my life. The lady looks straight at me. Liar, she says.
What is going on here is just miscommunication across the board.
But it's wild because Bobby and Sanj are now at the front door and they've never seen Kirat before in their entire lives.
Now, can we pause for 1 second? Because to explain it from Kirat's point of view, her worst fears are being confirmed right now.
They're one big happy family.
Bobby is living here with Sanj. He's been playing me this whole fucking time. Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. From Bobby and Sanj's point of view, they're like, who is this
There's a crazy
woman?
lady, hysterical on our front.
Yes.
And she is hysterical because she's been made to be hysterical over the last 8 years. So they're
but then also from Sanj's point of view, she doesn't necessarily believe that Bobby doesn't know who this woman is.
Right. So let's dive in because Kirat, they're like, who are you? And she's like, Elle Woods, like, liar, like throwing chocolate. She's like, this has been going, we are engaged. I have all the messages. Like, how do you not know me? And Sanj is like, you son of a bitch. Who is she? And everyone's like, Bobby's like, whoa, wait a second.
I want to see your one-person musical. This is great.
Ladies, please. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait a second. Do you think I'm my brother JJ?
Right, yeah.
Because this has happened before.
Yes.
We look a lot alike. And remember, little brother JJ is dating Kirat's cousin Simran, who's like the go-between here. And Kirat's like, no, I have photos, like I know. But what now? It's like, oh my God, you're Sanj and Bobby. And Kirat is like, I know everything about you. I have all of these photos. Like, how does this woman know where they live? And
how does she know our names? How does she know our kids' name?
Everyone is like terrified. And as everyone, we're at a fever pitch.
But then my phone rings and it's Bobby.
It's my face, but that's not my number.
And so he's like, see?
That's not me calling you. Somebody's pretending to be me.
I'm clearly not calling you right now. Like, this is not my phone number.
But Sanj has gone back inside, and Kirat thinks it's Sanj calling from inside to just be like, leave my man alone. Or Sanj has been behind this the whole time.
No, and Bobby's like, okay, someone is pretending to be me.
Yeah.
And Kirat is now spiraling.
Yes.
And
I mean, wouldn't you be? Like, can you imagine?
Of course,
oh my
because
God.
she's like, stop lying to me. I know you know me. You know my cousin Simran. And Bobby's like, whoa. Simran? Oh, wait, the only Simran I know dated my brother.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So Kirat calls, like, in the moment, she's like, fuck you, I'm going to get Simran on the phone right now. Like, I've been talking to you for 8 years. We're engaged. What the fuck are you talking about? So Kirat calls Simran and she's like, Simran, I'm with Bobby. He's lying to me. He's saying he doesn't know any of us. I know that that's not true. Like, please. Kirat is feeling insane and she needs her best friend to like confirm that she's not fucking crazy.
So Bobby is like, is that Simran, that girl that used to date my cousin 100 years ago?
Give me the phone.
Give me the phone.
So Bobby grabs the phone and he's like, hi, Simran. Like, haven't spoken to you in a long time. This woman is saying all of this crazy shit. Like, do you know her? What's going on? Like, I'm scared for my life. According to Bobby, Simran says on the phone, that's my cousin. She's very confused. She's fucking crazy. Put her back on the phone. I'll handle this. This is all a misunderstanding. Don't worry about it. Just give her back the phone. It's super cool.
Yeah. And so Kirat gets back on the phone with Simran, and Simran's like, girl, get out of there. Get out of there. You're not safe. Go.
You have to run.
Yeah.
Kirat leaves. Bobby and Sanj slam the door, lock themselves in, and just like a horror movie, knock, knock, knock on the door. It's Kirat.
I know.
Again.
And Kirat now is like looking at us and she's like, I heard them unlock the locks as though I'm the kind of person who's going to kick their door in and like storm in.
But if you're Sanj and Bobby, she 100% is.
100%.
So but this is where it's like,
fam, can you believe what is going on? This is wild.
This woman, Kirat, has lost it. And again, it's because of what she was pushed to.
Of course.
But this is how crazy she feels and how insane she feels that like the life she's been living for 8 years is real. She was there. It fucking happened to her.
Yes.
What is going on? So she knocks on the door and she turns her sights on Sanj.
Yes.
She looks at Sanj and says, I know you're staying at your parents' house in London because I've seen you there with your son.
Oh my God. How long has she been watching me for? Did she do that a lot?
I've been there. I saw you with your son.
With your son.
You can't lie to me like this. I'm not crazy. Don't you call me crazy. And then she starts talking about their baby.
Yeah.
She's calling him by name.
Yeah.
She has presents for him.
I always considered him to be my stepson.
Now,
this shit is out of a fucking movie.
So now as parents, they don't know her.
Yes.
She knows a lot about them. She's been stalking them. This crazy lady shows up and does know everything about you and your son. This is terrifying.
They call the police. They're like, we are calling the police right fucking now.
So Kirat leaves.
Yes.
And is screaming and crying in the car on the phone with cousin Simran.
Yes.
Who is like, oh my God, this is so crazy. This is so dangerous. Now, Kirat is leaving. She's gone. She's freaking out. She calls Simran. Bobby and Sanj call the police.
Yes.
Everyone is feeling insane.
But
no one can comprehend what just happened.
Yeah.
Like, what is real? What is real?
Well, but then it gets even worse because as Kirat is on the phone with her cousin Simran screaming and crying, she gets text messages from Bobby.
Who's like, I'm so sorry.
Now
I had to keep up appearances.
Yep.
Like, oh my God. Like, and now Kirat is like, no. They like, who is fake Bobby? You are not really Bobby. I was just there. Imagine how crazy she was meant to feel. Nothing makes sense. This is a reality that she lived for 8 years. And now the man she has been talking to and his wife are saying, we don't know who you are. This is out of the Twilight Zone.
You would feel like you wandered into like some other dimension.
I've had moments in my life where I have been made to feel, not this level, but when you feel crazy, I've said to Mike, can you like touch my arm? I'm real, right? Like I'm here, I'm a person and like what I'm saying is real. Am I crazy? Like what the fuck? And I haven't experienced anything close to this. So imagine.
I know. And she's going through it by herself.
Alone.
She feels, you know what I mean? Like
alone.
I know.
And
I
so
know.
everyone knows that whoever's texting Kirat is not Bobby.
Right.
Like we all know that.
Yeah.
But she's still feeling insane because who the fuck is Bobby?
Who is Bobby?
So the next day, cousin Simran calls Kirat. Because remember, Simran's been like the go-between the whole time. She was like bringing present, like the t-shirt. She saw Bobby in Kenya when he got shot the first time before he got transferred to New York. So Simran's been here the whole time. And she's like, girl, I talked to Bobby. And I have to tell you, like, Bobby went to the police.
Yeah.
And Kirat goes, well, fuck that. I'm going to the police.
She's like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to the police.
I'm going to the police. And Simran's like, no, don't do that.
Just wait. I'm coming over. Just wait.
And that's when I'm like, why not, Simran?
Yeah.
Why should Simran? No, but Simran, but why?
But why?
But why shouldn't she call the cops? Simran?
Yeah.
And Simran comes over to Kirat's house.
She looks at me and she says, it was all me. She says, I'm Bobby. But I can't quite understand. And I was like calling out names. What about Sanj? What about Yash? What about Rajveer? What about Kiran? What about so-and-so? She's like, it's all me. It was me. It was me. I was all of them.
All the friends.
Yes.
All the cousins.
60 people.
Every single person Kirat was talking to, the messages, the photos.
Yes.
All of it.
Yep.
She has been doing this for 8 years. So remember at the top of the episode when Kirat couldn't go to Bobby's wedding because of a family obligation?
Yes.
That was all manufactured by Simran. So she picked a date that she knew wouldn't work for Kirat. So now Kirat could say, well, he invited me to the wedding. That has to be real.
Oh my God.
She faked all of that knowing full well that Kirat couldn't go.
Yeah.
She knew her parents wanted to meet him. So she made that Facebook group with all the cousins to hold everybody over. over. She did all of it.
The whole thing with the dad, because everyone is saying if the dad had known that they were engaged, he would have gone to Kenya to meet Bobby's family. And that was why Simran had to invent that Bobby saying to the mom, don't tell your husband. I want to introduce myself in person. Let me do this the right way. Don't tell him anything.
The fact that this was the cousin that she confided in makes it 1,000,000 times worse. It couldn't have been unless it was her own mother.
Yes.
But other than that, this is the worst person who could have done this for her for 8 years.
And remember, this was an intimate relationship.
It was so Simran. Well, Simran has absolutely nothing to say. No explanation to why she would do this. But she messages Bobby and she goes, it was basically me. No, Simran, it was absolutely you.
Yes.
I don't know why I did it. I need counseling. Bobby is now reading from a message, like in the documentary. He's reading a message from Simran.
She goes on to say, I need counseling to help me work through it all. I'm sorry for everything. If you would be willing to deal with it without the police, come on. I respond, I will not be hiding anything from the police. And thank you for coming clean. Good luck.
I know.
Bobby's like, I'm telling the police everything. And now we love Bobby. How fast that changes.
I know.
Like when we all became East Still and Lions fans and immediately hated the Panthers. Anybody Friday Night Lights? No? Great. But immediately, because I was like, Bobby, you better answer for yourself. And now I'm like, Team Bobby.
I know. And he says, I will not be, he replies to Simran, I will not be hiding anything from the police. Thank you for coming clean and good luck.
Yeah. Screenshot, block, whatever.
Now, the Brighton police call Kirat and they're like, Simran confessed to Bobby, you've been the victim of a crime. You need to go to your local police and report this. She goes to the police. The police want nothing to do with her.
She's told she's not a victim. The only real victims are Bobby and Sanj, and she's not a victim. And Kirat's like, hard disagree. Because there is, at the very least, a major consent issue here.
Yes.
Because Simran did not have Kirat's consent to do anything. Also, why is it so sexual when they're cousins?
Oh, that is insane to me.
It is deception. It is manipulation. It was also an abusive relationship.
Yes.
It was not a good relationship. There was coercive control as far as the fucking eye could see.
Yeah. So Kirat says, I eventually had to take matters into my own hands. And thank God she did, because she starts gathering all the evidence. So all the messages and all the WhatsApp images, she's downloading everything.
But I'm beginning to see profiles disappear. Simran created them all. She's making them disappear. And that's tampering with evidence.
Well, that's tampering with evidence.
Yes.
So she is just finding, she's told there's no crime here. She's like trying to find evidence of crimes and making these spreadsheets and these folders.
Literally hundreds of thousands of messages.
And she organized everything, the fake profiles. She cross-referenced with the real profiles, spreadsheets, like 10 years of content.
Yeah.
And now, like, here's a note that I learned today. So Simran really did date little brother JJ.
Yeah.
And they broke up years ago. But there's a lot more to the JJ stuff.
Tell me.
A lot more. So this whole thing started when Simran was catfishing Kirat as a fake JJ.
Oh my God, really?
Her ex-boyfriend and Bobby's brother.
Yeah.
So Simran and real JJ break up. After that, fake JJ reaches out to Kirat for support. Soon after that, fake JJ dies, quote, dies from an allergic reaction. Real JJ is alive and well.
Yeah.
Fake Bobby, Simran as Bobby, reaches out to Kirat. And he's like, oh my God, we're both grieving. Thanks so much for being so nice to my little brother. So Simran was fake JJ.
Yes.
Then she kills off fake JJ. And then she enters as Bobby. And now Kirat and Bobby are like grieving together. That's how they got in touch.
So but for all the 10 years that they were in a relationship in the fake world, JJ's dead?
Yes.
Oh my God. Which is why when he says to her on his front porch, you might be thinking I'm my little brother JJ.
Right.
She finds out in that moment that he's not dead.
Right.
Oh my God.
But the Netflix kind of makes it seem like, oh, I kind of knew my brother. No. Simran first catfished Kirat as JJ. And then fake Bobby and Kirat started talking as like grieving friends.
Oh my God.
So it's not like it goes so much deeper than that's what I learned today. And apparently Simran did the same thing to real JJ. And she was using some of the same profiles in both scams. So, because it's all the same people. It's all the same family. So the scams were like supporting each other.
My question for the people who do this, how do you keep track of the lies? How do you keep track of the lies?
Eventually you don't.
Imagine being a person with multiple profiles on a website trying to keep track of all the profiles.
What herbs and losers. But like eventually, we're living it. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't keep it up forever.
Yeah.
But it is truly diabolical. Like, some of the people are real, and then she'd make duplicate profiles. Some of the people she totally made up. Like, some of them would be main characters. Some of them are supporting characters and then commenting on the main character's posts. 60 fake profiles. And I'm thinking, like, how did none of the real people in this small, tight-knit community
get
notice?
Wise to this?
Especially Facebook's, like, people you may know.
Well, because, so another thing that we find out is that
in pictures sent to me, Bobby's son was wearing clothes that we'd picked together. Unbeknown at the time to me, those baby photos already existed on the real Bobby's Facebook page. Somehow she had reverse engineered it to lead me to pick those clothes.
Simran was reverse engineering it.
Yes.
So she'd send her a bunch of options of clothes that she knows the baby already has.
Yes.
Make Kirat think that she was an active participant, and then the proof would be a photo from 3 weeks ago that Simran knew she already had.
It's just wild.
It's just like, it's intricate, it's organized, it's elaborate, it's deliberate, it's evil, it's mean, it's crazy. Like, I just have so many questions about how she pulled this off.
But the big question the family has is why?
Why? It's so cruel.
Why?
Like, you know your cousin, and like, that's when it breaks your heart when Kirat was like, just knowing how much she wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
And then Bobby cheats on her. And now his ex-wife is a mom.
Yeah.
When she, like, confided in him about how much she wanted to be a mom. Like, Sarah is so cruel.
So cruel. And, like, Kirat is, like, the cool older cousin that loved all the cousins, wanted to take care of everybody. So we learned in 2020 that Kirat took civil action against Simran.
After 9 years.
Yeah.
She was catfished for 9 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And she says Kirat was paid compensation by Simran and received a private apology from her in 2021. But this is wild because we're back with Bobby, and Bobby describes getting a huge folder from Kirat's lawyer with all the information about the fake Bobby. And Bobby looks at us, real Bobby looks at us, and he's like, all of these pictures show me living this, like, fabulous lifestyle, drinking and having cake. He's like,
but we're just a normal family with a very ordinary lifestyle. That moment was even more shocking than the morning that Simran confessed.
this is not who I am at all.
It was probably pictures from his wedding.
And like vacation, you know what I mean?
That she was just spreading out over time or photoshopping it or doing whatever. But we learned that at the time of making this film, Simran has not been charged or prosecuted by police. Kirat continues to raise awareness about the lack of legal frameworks to secure justice.
Yeah.
And also images of Simran have been represented by an actor.
Yeah, yeah. And Kirat is now 44 years old, and she says, I'm doing my utmost to get my life to where it should be. Will I ever be a mom at my age now? It's a massive question mark.
It's really fucking cruel. And like Simran, they say, was offered the opportunity to sit down and speak, and she declined. And she said that this matter involves events that began when she was a schoolgirl.
Oh my God.
No details on that. She considers it a private matter. Oh, does she? She considers it a private matter and strongly objects to what she describes as, quote, numerous unfounded and damaging accusations.
Like, Simran, you're a sick fuck and you need real fucking help.
And she was doing this to JJ. She was doing, like, that started as a schoolgirl. She was doing this to her classmates. Like, she has been doing this her entire life.
Where are Simran's parents? Like, what are you doing about this?
Apparently, she's living at home with them and they totally enable her. She was like the VP of Barclays for a while, or like
really?
she had like a high profile, this is all in the podcast, she had like a high profile job that she no longer has anymore.
Oh my God.
But she has like she has a ton of money and her parents are just like, well, whatever. Like, no one is really holding her accountable. And like, we need to adapt to 2024.
Yeah.
Like, there need to be laws against it. Like, the internet can't just be this lawless swamp anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just do this.
And I think that we as a public also need to be a little bit less naive. I'm not blaming the victim, but like, when we get into the witness protection situation, like, that's the first big red flag.
Like,
you know what I mean?
And also stop pressuring women to get married and have babies. Like, let them come to that conclusion on their own and stop forcing them. Stop saying that we're fucking useless if we don't have kids.
Yeah.
Stop saying that we're nobody if we're single. Like, fuck off. Stop
sitting
doing
them
that.
at the kids' table at weddings if they're single.
Are you out of your mind?
Can you imagine?
No.
I know.
Also, kids' table at a wedding? No, thank you.
Oh my God, girl, we did Sweet Bobby.
Sweet Bobby.
By the skin of our teeth, we got out of that one alive.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Remember when we hated Bobby and then we were like, hey, Bobby.
I know. I know.
We just turned on a dime there.
Fam, join the Facebook group if you want to hang out with us more. It's the True Crime Obsessed podcast discussion group. We've got almost 60,000 people in there.
And I know you have opinions on this.
Oh my God, we want to hear them all. Get in there and tell us what you think about sweet, sweet Bobby.
Yeah. Oh my God. And you know what, Kirat? Get that job. Like, just like live your life still.
Yeah.
Like, good stuff will find you. Just be you.
100%.
You know what I
and
mean?
It's
like,
never too late to do whatever you want.
And don't worry about the stupid societal pressure. I'll write you a note.
Yeah, exactly. What are we doing next, girl?
Oh God. Worst roommate ever. Season 2, Ep 1, my BFF tried to kill me. You know what?
I know.
You don't know anybody.
I know.
We don't know anyone.
know.
My BFF tried to kill me is the title of the thing that we're covering.
You're right. We don't know anybody.
We don't know anyone.
I don't trust nobody.
I don't trust nobody.
All right, well, stay tuned for the trailer for that, fam. And we love you.
We love you. Please stay safe out there.
Please do.
My God.
Oh, my God. All right, bye.
Bye.
I don't trust nobody.
I really have a hard time believing that the person that I've known for 25 years, my best friend and a roommate, could do what she did. But it was diabolical. It was evil. It was plotted and planned so perfectly. She found joy in tormenting me. I don't think I was human to her. I think if I had died, she would have sat in this house with my child. And I don't think she would have ever thought of it again.